Hi, this is Glenn Hughes, and please listen to the Deep Purple podcast.
You're listening to the Deep Purple podcast, a fan podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Your hosts, Nate and John, cover their shared history with the band, discover new music together, and cover the farthest reaches of the Deep Purple family tree and beyond. Here's Nate and John now.
Welcome to the Deep Purple podcast, a fan podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Today's episode is episode number 365, album rating Stormbringer. And coming to you from the suburbs of Chicago, where we have no time for fools, I'm your host, Nathan Beaudry.
And coming to you from the suburbs of Providence, I'm your co-host, John Riffbringer Matola.
Let's see, is that a I'm going to say that's AI. It is, yeah.
Because it's so friggin' stupid.
Yeah, that's like the kind of nickname I would think of if I remembered while I was talking that I had to come up with a nickname.
Or asked AI, and it's just like, oh, okay, Stormbringer. It's a rock band, Riffbringer.
He should have been he should have been Johnny Hurricane. That's a storm.
There we go. But that's not really. I guess it's kind of related to Deep Purple. But anyway,
welcome everybody to welcome to all the patrons in the live stream. We have a very awkward time. We have our late night shows and we have our morning shows that sometimes work for people. So we've managed to book a show that works for almost nobody. But it did work for me and John and our work schedule. So thank you for the patrons who were brave enough to join us on the live stream here today as we rank this episode. And speaking of patrons, if you want to support the show, our show is 100% listener supported, and it is ad-free. No ads on this show. You do have to listen to us thank our wonderful patrons, but that's it, because it is brought to you by them. You can also leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We'll never see it because none of the stuff works to show us that stuff anymore. And you get access to our patrons only Discord channel as a patron. You get access to our rating spreadsheet, invites for live stream episodes like today, links to submission to submit your rankings for the episodes like today, and access to our Too Hot for YouTube forbidden episodes when YouTube decides to ban our episodes. Though I will say, I have not we have not had an episode banned in a while. So we must be doing something right.
Well, either that or maybe bad, we're not being edgy enough.
Yeah, we're never banned for anything like that. It's YouTube, so we could probably talk about all sorts of unsavory manosphere content. We could turn into a manosphere show, and YouTube would just bump us up in the algorithm and feed us into the feeds of 14-year-old boys who will grow up to be losers. But
not us, though.
Not us. We're cool guys.
Yeah, we grew up to be just great.
Yeah, we're awesome. So this week we are covering the album Stormbringer. We'll be getting to that in a moment. Before we do that, we will thank our patrons, of course, coming to us the executive level at the in memoriam tier, the wonderful late Gerald, Jerry, Kelly, and family. At the $25 uncommon man tier, we have Ovis Nakvi. More on that in a moment. At the 20 is plenty tier, and in the chat, we have Al. I'm sorry, not in the chat. He's not in the chat, but he is in our hearts. We have Alan. At the 10-pound good doctor tier, we have Dr. Mike Catan. At the Turn It Up to $11 tier, Clay Wambacher, Frank Thielgard Mortensen, Mickelstein, Will Porter, PhD, and in the chat, Michael, don't call him Bradford Bagford. In the chat and in the gym, from what he says in the chat. At the $10 someone came tier, Ryan M, Jeff Bryce, Victor Campos, Better Call Saul Evans. And Peter from Illinois. At the £8 lesser known patrons tier, we have Robert Smith. And at the Deep Thoughts by John Matola tier, Mr. Fielding Fowler.
And now, Deep Thoughts by John Matola.
Huh? What? Sorry, I fell asleep.
Feelings on fire tonight.
And then, of course, the Deep Purple Podcast Hall of Fame. We have
Rich Yangui, Shaylor,
Jorg Planer, and on the live stream, Norman Weichelbaum. Thank you so much for joining us on the chat today. All right. So the next up, we have upcoming rankings episode. Come taste the band. Get us your rankings by August 1st. And then that will probably be the first show or second show back after our breezy summer format that we might actually implement this year.
Well, every year we get closer. The breeze gets stronger, lighter.
The breeze,
whatever one is easier.
The breeze is turning into a gust or a gale.
The gusty summer format. Coming, folks.
It's coming. Wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. So yeah, we'll be bringing that to you soon. So you'll have plenty of time as of the airing of this. So John has until August 1st. He has until 11:50 p.m. on July 31st to get it in.
Yeah. All right. Well, slow your roll here, okay? We're on this album.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's start pressure me about the next one.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
All right.
Before we move on and talk about a couple things, we do have postcards from the edge of Connecticut and all over, to be really fair. We have this one. It's postmarked Connecticut, but it comes to us from South Carolina, and it's celebrating Pie Day, March 14th.
I just saw that peach pie, P-I.
So I guess they don't. I guess they don't do this in the European format, right? Have Pi Day, because there is no month that would be 3/14. But in the U.S., I don't know. Remember when this started? I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, people just started saying 3/14, Pi Day.
I don't know. It's just May the 4th be with you.
Yeah,
May 4th, and it's so, I don't know. I think it's dumb.
It is kind of dumb. This one does have a recipe on it for peach pie, and it does have all the equations or the measurements or whatever you'd call it for what makes it Pie Day. And it says, Nate, happy Pie Day. Enjoy your pie and peaches, Peter. Recipe calls for 1 cup sugar, half a cup of brown sugar. Oh, one of the ingredients is pastry for a 2-crust pie. So I guess you're buying that already made. And then it's just basically sugar, flour, butter, and cooking down your peaches and putting them in the pie. Cut the second half of pastry into 18 strips, interface strips. I think they mean interlace. Press against moistened rim. This was translated from another language. It's from what? Aerial photography services. That is not a photograph at all, or aerial. But thank you, Pete.
Okay.
We'll have to buy some store-made pie crust and try that recipe out on a show. Also, my buddy got a 3D printer, and he stopped by the other day and dropped off his Deep Purple podcast that he printed for us. He was trying it up. He's like, hey, send me your logo and I'll try to print it up. So it's really nice. It's not like I don't know what I could do with it, but it's pretty cool. And then in a little bag, he brought the THE for because I guess it was the way the file was. they just kind of like printed, but weren't attached to anything. So
Yeah.
then we got another package. This one also from Connecticut. So we're gonna open this one up. All right. Ooh, I almost cut into it here. This is Nate. Oh no. I had this mini disc kicking around since 1994. Was a freebie from the Rolling Stone. Never got the technology. I am sure you have it. My favorite would be probably track 16, Promotion Message. What would you and John's favorite be? There's a it's written on the back of a fax. Pete, do you have a fax in your house? Which is a fax
sure
of somebody offering same-day leak roof repair. So, and it's dated March 16th, 2026. So he's getting junk faxes at his house because he has a fax machine. So,
Junk fax.
oh, Rolling Stone, turn it up. It's a mini disc. I did have a mini disc player
Wow.
many years ago, but I do not have it anymore.
Great story.
It's I mean I kept you engaged from the beginning till the end. I got one. Well, you know what? I think I need another one for today. One more. This one came in yesterday, also postmarked from Connecticut. This is something from the newspaper. It says, Nate, are you a charter member of this club that started in Chicago? Sure looks like you. Is John in the Rhode Island chapter? He's saying this guy looks like me.
Well, I can't.
Which
Yeah,
is-
from the. Yeah, I can kind of see
Which
it.
is just a reminder that I need to really start losing some weight.
That COVID weight.
Yeah, my COVID weight
You
that
keep
never
talking
came
about.
off. It says, can you scream your way to happiness? Scream Club participants let out their frustrations together March 8th in Atlanta. The club has 17 chapters worldwide. So they meet by a body of water to minimize disturbance, and then they just scream. I'm not in that club. But thank you. But thank you for thinking of me and reminding me to lose some weight. Then, last but not least, I did get this box in. Ugh. And I believe I know what it is. There's 3 individually wrapped packages inside. And I'm going to open one up. This is a big moment. Been waiting for a long, long time. And it's another package. So let me open that up. And it is, Before We Forget, the John Lord book written by Mr. Ovis Nakfi. Beautiful.
It's a great cover.
Beautiful, very, very well done. Great title. Some great pictures on the inside. There is Norman. You'll appreciate this. There's Mr. Schoner and Mr. Lord. There's a blurb on the back by your favorite podcast host. Ooh. And what else have we got in? Oh man, this is going to be great. I can't wait to check this out. These are scans of ads that I scanned and that I scanned for him. And in fact, I've got the actual copies there. They're actually beautiful. Some really beautiful ads for Moog synthesizers and stuff. So I got to get those copied. And then these are copies of the pictures that Ovis had sent in for the All Those Years Ago book that he had originals of. that he had gotten years ago from the recording of, I think it was the recording of Windows. Very excited to get into this. Very expertly researched. So I think our European listeners have gotten their copies much sooner, but mine came in last night. So this is great. Oh, and they're numbered copies, I believe. Oh, and they're signed, I think. Let me see. Maybe. Ah, there it is. Number 192, signed by Paul Mann and Ovis Nakvi. Beautiful. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. I don't know what I'm going to do with the other copies. Maybe raffle them off or whatever, but thank you so much.
Give one to John.
Give one to John. Oh, maybe. We'll see. We'll see.
I don't know. I don't get much mail around.
I do need to get you a wedding present, so it's something you can both enjoy. All right.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that's yeah. Hey, you want to read this John Lord book with me? It's like, oh, who?
Fall asleep very quickly. Oh, let me tell you what was really different about this particular mini moog he used.
Yeah, that's a topic that spans all interests and generations, and not niche at all.
All right. Yes, Joe is asking for an order link. Yes, I can send him the link. I think it's beforeweforget.store or something. Let me try that. Concerto edition sold out. Pre-order now on. Yeah, so the pre-order is sold out.
Wow,
but you can pre-order on Amazon UK, and there'll be more to follow. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, everyone. One more last minute thing of business. Since we last recorded, they've announced all the North American tour dates for Deep Purple. So it had kind of been teased that they were going to be playing this. And I think from the sound of it that I think the venue jumped the gun and got the information about them playing near me early, because I think the band was like, they were a little... I know there was some sort of confusion about that because they hadn't announced any dates yet, but they'll be playing by me. And if you're a listener of the show, you'll remember the experience I had at the Weird Al concert. They're playing at that venue. So
I remember that story.
Looking to get a few people to Ryan M just has already texted me. He's in. I'm going to reach out to Mike Catan. No, he doesn't. Mike Catan doesn't even live around here. He flew in for the Glenn Hughes show. So see if he's in. Going to see if Peter from Illinois is going. I'm sure he is. So try to get a group going together. And some of you guys might even come up too, but we haven't really figured it out yet. So if we do have a meetup, which I hope we do, that should be a lot of fun. The venue is wonderful. Beautiful place to watch a concert. Amazing concessions, a great lawn area, great little pavilion. I've seen shows there. It's
as long as the weather cooperates.
If the weather cooperates and whatever the hell was going on with the traffic, because it took me, I could have driven to see them in St. Louis from here and gotten there in the same amount of time. So I'm really hoping that they figure some things out. But they're playing a bunch of other shows. They're going through Canada and all that. But could not be a worse time for me, or really you personally, when they're coming through. But going to try to make it work. And I'll certainly make the Illinois show work. Joe is pointing out no dates in Dallas. It doesn't seem like they're doing much in the South. I think there's like a Florida show or two. And then they're just mostly just hovering, and they're like bouncing back in and out of Canada. They're doing like Montreal and then Detroit and then Toronto, and then they're kind of like going all over the place. So should be a good time. All right, here we are, folks. And I'll have links to the show notes for all those dates and all that. Stormbringer. We've been doing these albums one by one, having all of our patrons fill in and vote for their favorites, starting from their least favorite to their favorite song on the album. John, what was your takeaway from, I know you re-listened to this album on a hike, as you mentioned before the show started. What was your takeaway going through this and trying to rank these songs?
It was, I don't know if I want to say it was difficult, but it was, I guess, like you said, like surprising. I think you said my rankings were surprising because I was listening to and in headphones, which I don't. Since I go out walking or hiking a lot more, like I try to go like daily. I have earbuds in a lot more. So whether it's podcasts or music, I'll hear it like that more. And for my whole life, I just mostly listened, through speakers. So I feel like I picked up a lot of stuff, or maybe I heard it more like immersively than I have, at least in a while. And um, yeah, I think it was more surprising to me, but I was like listening and I'm like, where would I put this? How much do I like this? And there were a couple of songs that I thought that I liked that I liked better, which I was like, I don't know, this would probably go a little further down than this one. So yeah, yeah, my takeaway was is that I was a little surprised at how some of my opinions might have changed a little bit, but that could have been with time or just the moment that I was listening. Because you know how music is. Sometimes like you're really moved by a song and the surroundings you're in, and I don't know. But
Yeah, I did like a blind ranking to start off. Um, yeah, just because I know the songs so well, but then when you actually listen to them, and then I would find like, oh yeah, this part of this song I kind of like didn't associate with the song or whatever, and then you just I found it to be very, very difficult. I had like two songs that I was like 100% sure like could have been interchangeably the second to last and last, but and honestly, they weren't even really that far off from the other songs on the album. But the other songs on the album, 1 through 7, could have been shuffled up a bunch of different ways.
yeah, I think that that's probably accurate. Plus the fact that there were songs like I don't know, I don't want to spoil it, but it's like you hear a song and you're like, okay, I'm sure this is going to be my one or my two, right? But you're like, you want to hear it again just to make sure. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Even though it's like, why would I think anything different after all these years? But you never know.
Oh yeah, and then if we had done this ranking 30 years ago, it might have come up with a completely different different ranking. But yeah, I think we can get into it. I got a slightly different format for my spreadsheet this time, so hopefully it works a little bit easier sometimes because it's a lot of information, a lot of different cells. But we can kick it off. The difference between the last place song and the first place song were, well, let me just say that there's two songs that were kind of like number 9 and number 8 were pretty
battling it out.
Yeah. But everything else, I mean, this is probably the tightest margin we've had so far. It's only like 100 points difference between the first place and the last place song, which really in the scheme of this spreadsheet isn't that much. So we've got songs ranking from 87 points to 198 points. And there's 4 songs that are kind of on the lower, that are kind of grouped up together, and the other 5 are grouped up together pretty high. So we'll kick it off with the last place song.
Number 9.
Love Don't Mean a Thing. So this one was, again, pretty close to the next place song. Looking at our rankings, we ranked it kind of, you ranked it last.
Yeah.
And I ranked it 7th.
Yeah, so very similar.
Now, I remember many moons ago when we did our episode on this show, you were annoyed by how many times they said the word money in the song.
Yeah, I think that's and you know what? I thought about that too when I was listening to it, and it was when I first got this album. One of the things that I remember is that I really liked this song, and I mean I still do. I mean, I gotta say, there's no song on this album that I don't like. It's
Correct.
just different levels of like. But yeah, when I was listening to it, I was like, maybe this is the second song, and I'm like, yeah, this song's gonna be way up there for me. And I mean, the song is funky, like the groove, the bass. Like I love like the you get to hear that great, Hughes and Coverdale like back and forth, but it's like I couldn't get over, like, I'm not a lyrics guy, but I couldn't get over the damn lyrics. It's just like I just felt like you could have just called the song Money.
Yeah.
And it was just so repetitive that I got annoyed. And I'm like, yeah, when I was ranking them, I'm like, this has to go to the bottom because I don't enjoy it as much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even after I love the guitar solo. Like, I was listening to the solo and it sounded like Richie was like recording the solo, like he was trying not to bother anybody. Like he was like really quiet, like he was going like this.
Richie wouldn't want to bother anybody.
But like after the solo, there was like that modulation up, which, we love a good modulation. And there's so much good stuff about this song, but it's just like money, money, and I was like, all right, I can't anymore with this.
This little funky organ part is great too. It's
well, that's the thing. There's so much good about this song, so I had to knock it down for just the lyrics were just really like grating on me. So I guess it's just like been a theme for me.
And allegedly, the song was written by like some like panhandler or busker or something. Well, like he was singing some sort of song like this and they took him back onto the jet and they jammed with him for a little bit and then they would basically never saw him again, had no idea who he was, couldn't even give him credit if they wanted to. Nobody ever stepped forward. So I don't know, maybe they hallucinated that. but it's I like this part too. The Glenn part here is a highlight for me, but there is no song on this album that I don't like, and this is certainly no song I would ever skip. I think this is probably my highest rated album in the catalog. If we go to our spreadsheet, I'm not sure, but yes, was it a hobo or a drifter that wrote this song? Depends who they're telling the story to.
See, so I mean, I have to say that it's like, I guess there's the one thing that if I would say I don't like about this album is probably the lyrics to this song, but there's so much other great stuff in this song. There's like, it's awesome. I remember just like, after discovering the later, the Mark 3 and 4 albums by Deep Purple, how different these were from Mark's 1 and 2, and just really loving it so much. So it's like every time I heard we heard like Stormbringer, it's like, okay, like typical, what's going on with Deep Purple now, and then you hear this and you're like, oh, curveball,
Yep.
So I really love that stuff. It's the same thing, which is, I love like Come Taste the Band so much because it was a friggin' album full of curveballs. So from what we knew as classic Deep Purple. So, but anyway,
this album is great, and to think it's just basically they're recording this 6 years after they were recording Hush. It's like it's just an amazing thing. Like they can go 6 years between albums easily now, with no discernible change in their style, and it's just such a. I mean, that's just how things were back then. But yeah, it's incredible. I really like that. Listening to it again here in the background, I'm like, man, maybe I should have ranked it higher. I don't know, but I'm sure when I Michael Bagford's calling us the unprofessional professionals. You guys make us professionals because you pay us, and this is how we repay you by forgetting to record the video. We'll just say it was going to get banned on YouTube anyway. All right, so the next song up is
number 8.
And it's Holy Man. This one 87 points for Love Don't Mean a Thing, 95 points for Holy Man. Coming in 8th place. So this is where maybe John and I will. We're throwing off the average because John, you ranked it number 3.
Yeah.
And I ranked it number 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I was not expecting that from you.
No. Yeah. I've always really loved this song. It's
I know that you love this song. It's just not number 1 love.
Oh, I didn't even read the comments about Love Don't Mean a Thing. So I'll have to read the comments about this one. Oops.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Don't forget that. I was thinking like, wait, I think we moved on before we got the comments from the last song. Maybe we could retroactively read those.
Yeah, we'll do a retroactive one.
Yeah, so number one. Wow.
Yeah, this is I love the that little synth interlude. I just like how as much as I love Mark III and 4 and the way that they trade off vocals, there's something about the songs that they sing solo that always like, I don't know, like something about it makes it more special to like, oh, this is just a Glenn song or that is just a David song. And I just always thought this song was great. I love this part right here.
Yeah.
That little bass thing I think about all the time. That it's the simplest thing in the world. You can't even call it a fill or anything, but it's just him feeling the groove of the song, even though you wouldn't hear the song and say, oh, this is such a funky song. And this guitar solo is great. Richie, when he's checked out, does great guitar solos.
Yeah, this is yeah, I mean, what a great solo. It's very like when I was listening to it again yesterday, I thought like how much Rainbow is in this, like how much of Rainbow's first album. Like a picture like this guitar solo being on the first Rainbow album.
And this is the Screwdriver one, isn't it? If I remember correctly, the one he just grabbed. He wanted to do a slide solo, so he just grabbed a. Oh yeah, Norman's in the chat saying best Screwdriver solo ever.
But yeah, I always love this song too. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, but it's a great song. I think it's a simple song. It's not a standout song on the album, but for some reason for me it always did. And I feel like Glenn is like trying to control a nuclear reaction when he's controlled on a song like this. It's beautiful.
And that's the thing about this song is like it's a great like I don't know, I guess you could say kind of like a ballad type song. And it's really melodic and it's like emotional and I don't know, just like when you hear like a Glenn ballad or a really soulful Glenn song from the early days, especially, it's like you can't beat it. Like this, this time around, it's just like, you know, even in like Trapeze, like Coast to Coast, like, you know, sometimes you just like, you know, he'll strike like lightning, you know, in those. But you know, there was just like for this, you know, this particular band and the music and the song, it all hit in the right way, where it was always one of my favorites and still is.
And I love the way, I mean, it's kind of like the song is like orchestrated by John Lord doing, like he's got this what sounds like an orchestra of synths, but it's most likely just it's most likely maybe just one or two patches, but he's got that like when that let's say that like that low bass glissando thing going on in the background, and it just sounds like, I don't know if it's like a brass sort of thing, which I generally am not a big fan of. I like the Moog brass stuff or Moog brass stuff, however the hell you pronounce it. But I don't like the 80s brass synth stuff. I think it sounds terrible. But this sounds really it's really great. I love what he's doing with all the synths in that song. I think it just really makes it. And they did this one on the Purple album, didn't they, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I remember hearing it. It's obviously, you know, hearing David sing it is unusual, and but it's cool. So I think he may have been maybe even involved in the songwriting piece of it. But yeah, great track. Let's hear what our patrons have to say about this song, and then also we'll kick it back to Love Don't Mean a Thing. Mr. Merline Rota says, decent song. There you go. Kev Roberts, some lovely guitar work from Richie and great vocals from Glenn when he restrains himself. He can't for long, though, can he? And more histrionics begin to grate me and detract from what ultimately is a really great song. Always been a bugbear of mine. Glenn has an outstanding voice, but when he goes off riffing or thinking he's Stevie Wonder, I just check out. Norman says, nice song, one of the first with a falling bass line on a major chord. Glenn at his best. Scott Haskin, who has also joined us on the chat, says, pretty decent song. Would have been nice to have a dual vocal on it, though. Steve Down to Earth Kohler, perhaps the simplest solo yet. Perfectly eloquent by Richie. Joe Sigler, I was asleep before. He says, no, I was asleep before the chorus. I love to start it out with no.
Well, also, what are these rankings? What are they ranking them?
That's a good point. Joe ranked us last.
Hmm.
Yeah, let's talk about that then. So we had Blackmore Tights, Joe Sigler, Scallop Strat Matt, the Gardo, the Roback,
Oh, guys.
Engstrom, all ranked at last.
Oh, man.
I am the only lunatic who ranked it first. But Ash and Lionel ranked it second.
Okay.
It's got a few in there. Mike Bagford ranked it second. So it's got its fans, but again, I think there are some people who just genuinely don't like it. But like I said, overall, on an average, there's no like huge outlier on this. You know, there's some albums we do where you're like, oh yeah, this is going to lose by like 250 points. It'll be in last place, but nothing on this album like that. Kai Runa Olsen says, typical Glenn composition and a bit atypical Purple, but a funky and soulful track. A bit boring and uninspired by Richie. I mean, I would agree with that because he does sound uninspired, but there's something about it. The song has kind of like a sleepy nature to it that it works really well. Like even when Richie's doesn't care, he can't help but elevate a song.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it sounds at all like Richie doesn't care. I mean, it doesn't matter if he did or didn't. I mean, it translated beautifully into the song. I mean, if he was trying to play that as like the solo to like Lady Double Dealer, then okay. But then you'd be like, oh, okay, he's phoning it in. But
yeah, he had the same tone and the same screwdriver and everything.
Yeah.
Soldier of Fortune says, a beautiful song. Is this one of Hughes's finest ever pieces of work? I would put it up there. Mark Roback says, does not do a lot for me. It's nice, but kind of generic 70s in a way. Eddie Lyon calls it one of Hughes's most underrated works. Hank the Tank says, beautiful song, love it. Rich says, I realize this is an unpopular opinion, but I don't really care for Glenn's voice in the song. Again, when I was first listening to this album, it was just too wimpy for me. Still kind of is.
Wimpy. I still love that way to describe something that's like not heavy.
Sometimes
it's not heavy, it's wimpy.
It's a wimpy. I'll gladly pay you today for a holy man tomorrow. Stuart McCord, not one of my favorites on the album, but still a good track, and it's nice to hear Glenn finally get his moment to shine with a solo song. Ashen Lionel says has the purple scale rating. He ranks this one shallow thistle. He's got all different. Oh wow, look at this. He's got all different shades of purple, shades of deep purple, if you will. It says purple scale rating, shallow thistle. This band recorded Speed King less than 5 years earlier. Great blue-eyed soul ballad with a yearning performance that builds beautifully. Puts me in mind of the Bee Gees, To Love Somebody, or early ELO. And Ashen Lionel is the one who gave it number 2 spot. All right. So do we want to go over a few rankings for Love Don't Mean a Thing?
Yeah, let's knock that out now. So before we forget.
Okay, last place. Matt in Vegas, Jelly Bean, Runar Simonson, Eddie Lyon, Purple Swede, Graham Bonnets, Disco Pants and Haircuts, Mike Bagford, Arthur Smith, Steve Down to Earth Kohler, and Merline Road to All ranked at 9th. I don't think it got any first place. Oh no, one first place. Jeff Bryce ranked at first place.
Oh, wow.
All right. Jeff Bryce always has has hot takes on these things. The purple scale rating from Ash and Lionel is at dipped amethyst. All right, uptight. I'm a Motown star. I love the groovy in the pocket bass on this one. What else we got? We've got Arthur Smith says, ranking this last doesn't mean I don't like it. I do, but it was always slightly odd coming after Stormbringer, but I do like it and never skip it. Nice swapping out of lead vocals. Not sure about Richie's solo towards the end. Sounds like he was just noodling a bit and they captured it and said, that'll do. Yeah, it does kind of sound almost like he's like warming up on that part. But again, it's like, if you're Richie Blackmore, you can just, they could record you just riffing a little bit and then put it on the album and it's still going to sound great.
Mm-hmm.
Not so for most of us. Love Don't Mean a Thing. Scott Haskins says, I like the chorus. Norman Weichelbaum says, purple relaxed. Love that groove. Kev Roberts says, wow, this is a departure. Can't get my head around what's happening here. It just seems like a studio jam. Coverdale full of passion and the first sign of histrionics from Glenn. Interesting outro, but I'm left thinking I'm not sure where this is going. All right. So let's move on to the next track. Ranked number 7. This one has, how many points does this next track have? As I try to keep things secret, it makes it harder for me. This next track has 101 points.
Number 7.
And I believe this is the only track that you and I ranked exactly the same. We ranked it 8th.
Mm-hmm. Eyeball shooter.
And it's like, you know, I'm listening to it now and I'm like, man, I really like this song. But I love the little, like the organ in the background, and it's got a great, it's kind of it sounds like a kind of a throwaway song, but the way that everyone's playing and the way they've arranged it's fun, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty it's pretty I think there was a word used on the somebody said on the last one is relaxed, which I think is a great way to describe the feel of this whole album.
Yeah.
And I could never put my finger on it, but that's what I like about a lot of these songs. They feel very like relaxed and laid back. Not like laid back like light rock, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's good without being too over the top. But this is more like upbeat, lively. Not a bad song, but not one of my favorite songs. Like when I was listening like to the whole, I'm just like, all right, this song is like, it's all right, but it's not like up in the top, so that's why I put it so low. But I mean, I do like how upbeat it is, how loose it is, you know, because there was a lot where I thought that they were like doing a lot of improvising in the studio, like where Coverdale goes, whoa.
Yeah,
one point is like, all right, you could tell they're trying to be like loosey goosey and you know all that kind of stuff. So not a bad song, just not one of my favorites.
So this was ranked last by Kev Roberts, Raph Kaff, Duncan Leask, Soldier of Fortune, Jeff Bryce, and Ash and Lionel. Last, yeah.
Oh.
First by Simon Ford.
And the other thing too is that the one redeeming thing about this, the one outstanding thing is like Lord's solo.
Yeah.
Which just came up. Because it's like you have the one where he started off but it's like it's just a great classic.
If you were doing like a weird noise, Zoom cut you out. So we'll
yeah,
hear
you
it
know
on the audio podcast. Wow. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm doing.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just a classic Hammond solo.
Yeah, but it's like it's not like a dirty or distorted. And I love what he's doing in the background. The dan 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 dan. Like it's like he's got this like it's got a fun bounce to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, great solo all around. And then, of course, coming out of the solo, that they're all kind of jamming together there. This one, Ashen Lionel says, where is it? Lady Double Dealer. Purple scale rating, deep purple. Full-on riff-driven classic rocker, none more purple. And Ashen Lionel gave this one but he put it in 9th place. So shows you again on this album, like even the last place. There's a few negative comments about least favorite songs, but for the most part across this album, seems to be pretty positive.
Yeah.
Stuart McCord pace absolutely shines here for me with those nice, speedy, complex drum riffs. What happened to the song?
Yeah, went away.
I don't know. All right. Well.
All right. I guess that's it. All right.
That's it. Okay. I didn't remember an ending that way, but. Oh, I think I know what I did. That's my fault. Okay. Jelly Bean, lots of energy. Love it. Rich Shaler, I'm a rock and roll preacher, not a Sunday school teacher, is right up there with Busy as a Bee Can Be for cringe, Deep Purple lyrics.
Yeah,
what I
know
would consider a
Rich's
filler track is
feelings on that
only
one.
saved by a killer John Lord solo. I don't know. I like I'm a rock and roll preacher, not a Sunday school teacher.
I mean, that's pretty, like, I always hear that and I'm just like, okay, that's like classic, like classic rock lyrics, like very obvious type of stuff. But I mean, it's, again, like nothing to really hate about the song. Just not as high as other ones.
A lot of people saying things about John Lord's solo.
Well, it
Mark
is a
Roback.
standout in the song. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Mark Roback says, excuse me. John Lord's keyboards and upbeat tempo moved this one up in my rankings. Eddie Lyon, funky rocker elevated by an amazing John Lord solo. Peter Gardeau, ball and shooter in a Coverdale song is kind of gross. Okay. Well, you made it gross. Pete, that's on you. Kai Aruna Olsen, high tempo, fantastic vocal performances, and a cheetah solo by John. A cheetah solo. Oh, okay. Uninspired. I like that phrase. Uninspired playing by Richie. Lots of good playing by Ian Pace. One of the few cowbell songs. Duncan Leask says, subpar purple IMHO, very weak. Kenny Wymore, nice organ solo. Nice organ work, but I forget about this one as well. Raf Calf says, I used to like it more over the years. I grew bored of it. There is this one little passage that inspired Metallica to One, I think. Oh, the that part?
Oh,
it's gotta be that part. Yeah, that's kind of similar, I guess.
See, I don't know how you do that.
That's my...
I can't do it.
It's my my hidden talent that will get me absolutely nothing in life.
Props on this podcast.
Scalp Strap Matt says, reminds me so much of early Whitesnake. Never a bad thing. Very true. I could say. I wonder if they ever played this like in a warm up or something. It seems like it would work. Steve Down to Earth Kohler says, high energy. Scott Haskin says, yay, a testicle reference. By Kev Roberts, some welcome Hammond organ and a great riff supporting it, but the song is meat and drink to Purple. Highball shooter, you sure ripped the low ones off me? Really? No, thank you. Low point of the album for me. I've pretty much lost interest at this point. So not a overall Stormbringer fan. I'm taking it from Kev Roberts. Okay. We'll do a couple more before we take our patron break. The next up, ranked number 6. Let's see where the scores come in for this. Number 6 ranked track is 103 points. So we've gone from 87 points in 9th place to 103 points at 6th place. So really tight margins this whole album. And here we go.
Number 6.
You can't do it right with the one you love. Oh, listen to that. The way this song comes into is just so great.
Yeah, this is very, very cool, very funky.
I love this song, and it says a lot about this album that we ranked it again pretty similar. You put it in 5th place, I put it in 4th place. So
yeah, so
very
squarely
close.
in the middle. Yeah, squarely in the middle.
And it says a lot that this is in the middle. You know, it's. I love that bass that is. You can't tell where it's. Like Richie's kind of matching him on the guitar, and he's playing that low part on the organ. I can't even tell where the bass really plays into the song. But I love the dual vocals on this one.
Yeah. This is like just a great like funky like toe tapping track. It's got a lot of different like great parts to it, and even when you're listening to the main riff that's coming up this part right here, it was just like very like I was like Glenn had to have had a lot to do with this because it sounds very Stevie Wonder influenced.
Yeah,
you know, just the way that the John Lord's like in the right channel. And then I realized that this keyboard solo, or this Lord solo, is very much like the She's a Woman solo tone from Whitesnake that I love so much.
I was thinking A200.
But I think it's the same effect that he uses.
And it's not John Lord's really good. Was always really good at it. Putting a solo in there that was like the last thing you'd expect. That's not the kind of solo that the song is setting up.
Yeah,
but it's great. And I think Richie comes in later and does kind of a Phrygian style solo as well. That's kind of weird. And I might have the mode wrong, so I apologize to all you guitar nerds out there. I just use Phrygian to mean anything that sounds like a little snake charmery, which is not technically accurate. Maybe it's accurate. I don't know.
I don't think that he does I don't think Richie plays.
Doesn't he do like in the
solo
outro? Doesn't he do something? Yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, I think it just fades out from here.
I
think you might be thinking of another one.
Oh, maybe it's John that does it in the background here.
But yeah, definitely
Richie's
a great.
Richie's upset. He doesn't even bother having a guitar solo. He's like, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, but honestly, like Richie's like quote unquote being checked out from this album is like a million times better than how he was checked out in Who Do We Think We Are. I mean, at least here I can't, like, to my ears I can't tell. Like, you might be able to like, oh, see how uninspired it is, or see where Richie's missing from this song. And I guess if you really dig, you can find it. But I mean, to my ears, I always just thought like, all right, this is some like good, like kind of chill work from him. You know, he doesn't like break loose, maybe just a couple of songs, but it's like,
yeah,
I always found it like really melodic and different. And like, I just really liked whatever he did on this album. But
yeah. All right. So this one, it does have a few last with Simon Ford and Norman Weichelbaum ranking this a 9. I think that's it for the 9s. Quite a few 8s. Soldier of Fortune, Anders Engstrom. Soldier of Fortune is going to make this episode confusing. The patron Soldier of Fortune. Matt, Purple Swede, all gave it an 8. Does it have any 1s? It does have a 1. Peter Gardot.
Oh, the Gardot. Wow.
and Ash and Lionel. Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. So, well, let's start then with Peter Gardeau. He says, ball and shooter in a Coverdale song is kind of gross. Sorry, that's the last one. Top 5 DP song, even though Richie left the room by the end. And then Ash and Lionel says, purple scale, superficial lavender, least purple of the lot, but great energy. Correct choice for lead single. Who is the king of funk keyboard? Stevie Wonder, Sly Stone, or John Disco Lord on the clavinet here? Good call. Stuart McCord, I really like the groove of this one and the catchy chorus. Another excellent dual vocal performance which showcases those soul and R&B influences that Coverdale and particularly Hughes brought to the table. Jelly Bean says, bottom third is all I can give. Hank the Tank, DP goes wonder, and I love it. Rich Shaler, underrated riff about as funky as I got in my youth. This one holds up and I never skip it. Runar Simonson, funky, and I love the synth solo. Eddie Lyon says, damn funky. Kai Runa Olsen, and he actually says, Kai Runa, yes, I'm Norwegian. Oh, who else? Oh, it's Runar that calls himself It's Great Simonson. So everyone playing into our Norwegian style here. Kai Olsen says that I like this one a lot, even though it may be the weakest on the album. I like what John plays. Clearly, he's in a period where he's exploring his Moog synth. Duncan Leask, a song of its time with a real funk R&B feel, more so than Hold On, but it shows real confidence from Cov Hughes here. Peak Shoeshine, copyright RB. Peak Shoeshine.
I love it.
Kenny Wymore, very funky. I love it, but if you put this on at a party, no one would guess this is Deep Purple. And I think that's where like some of the stuff, like to start off with the song Stormbringer and then go into Love Don't Mean a Thing. If you're a Deep Purple fan up to that point and you've come up most likely through the Mark II stuff into Burn, and then you hear Love Don't Mean a Thing, you're like, what the hell is going on here? And then to follow it with Holy Man, you're probably like, there's probably a lot of people saying like, I don't know what's happening. Like, what is going on? Like, this is not what I expected. You know, they bring in Highball Shooter, they bring in Lady Double Dealer, but it had to have been a challenging first listen for a lot of Deep Purple fans. Okay. So the last track before we get into our patron break. In 5th place, dead center in the album, I think, right? See if I can find it here. In 5th place with 124 points.
Number 5.
So we go into Hold On, which is a divisive song, I feel. You and I are pretty close again. I gave it a 6th place. You gave it a 7th.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this song. So like I could have... this one probably could have been as high as 3 for me. You know, with my the distance between my 7th place and my 1st place were like neck and neck. But I get how people aren't expecting this from Deep Purple at this point.
Yeah, but you know, I'm obviously looking at this song through the lens of I am expecting this from Deep Purple and this album, so
yeah,
I'm like ranking it against the other songs.
I love when Glenn goes.
I know you do. I heard that I was listening to it, and I'm just like, yeah, I know Nate. That's Nate's favorite. Yeah, I mean, I guess I ranked it like a little bit lower than like you know, if you got like the halfway point of the album rankings, and it's like a little like on the belower side, you know, it's a great song. It's just like I said, there are other songs that I like better.
There he goes.
I know. You wanted me to be quiet so you could hear it.
Shut up. But we were talking in our last episode with Rich and Scott about confidence in vocal performances and just singing things like on the melody line versus what Coverdale and Hughes and Gillan and these amazing singers do, which is to really explore the lyrics and do different things that you wouldn't expect, things that we would never have the ability or the confidence to do. And, you know, just something like that, like having the level of confidence to be able to do that, like unironically and have it sound cool. Like, I feel like if I did that, people would be like, oh, do you need a drink of water? And I like this like low part by Coverdale here. Oh, and this is the one that they say he played with his thumb, but we have debunked.
Well, actually, I was listening to this, and it's like he does a lot of those string rigs. He goes,
yeah.
But when I was listening in the headphones, I heard that he was kind of like, it sounded like this part here, it sounded like he was like chicken picking or something.
Yeah, I think what he's, because I think it was incorrectly described over the years that he played this with his thumb, like as if he played his left hand with just his thumb. I think he played it with his thumb, meaning he didn't use a pick.
Yeah, that's what I got from this. I think it's a really well composed solo, because one thing that I didn't hear was that halfway through the solo he was like hitting like a secondary note while he was soloing. Like you could hear that he was like using like his thumb and like, you know, maybe like his forefinger to play.
Yeah, I mean, I think when the attack on the strings,
yeah,
it sounds like a thumb. You know, it doesn't sound like a pick. It sounds like a thumb. So that's got to be what it is. And I think it's one of his best solos ever. I love it. I think the way he plays it is great. There's this guy on YouTube that does Dog with Two Bones is the channel, and he does like breakdowns of Richie solos, and he does this one, and it's a great video. He does, all of his videos are awesome. So just put a link in the show notes to that.
But yeah, this is just another one where, I mean, there were other songs that had to go above this one because just for the you know, the fact that I just liked them more, so they just had to get bumped down a little bit. But I mean, it's still a great song. I still enjoy it. You know, I love listening to it.
It's got a few last place nines: Stuart McCord, Rich, Karsten Lau, Scott Haskin. I all gave it a 9. For first place, it's got Runar It's Great Simonson. Mark Roback gives it first place. Second place from Duncan Lees. Second place from Simon Ford.
So really all over the map here with ratings.
It's all over the place. Merline Rota says, I really like this song. The Fender Rhodes along with Richie's solo are top notch. Kev Roberts, Coverdale to the fore again, and there's no sign of the shy, introverted new boy who joined prior to the Burn album. That's been left well behind, and he's definitely putting his stamp on this album, as is Glenn. Deep Purple now delving into gospel territory. Yeah, that's a good call. Norman Weichelbaum. Overall, just a great session riff by John on the keys. Yeah, and I kind of talked over it, but yeah, that solo by John, it's such a great solo by Richie. But that when he's doing all these like great little like transposing these chords in like a really cool, interesting way as he kind of like goes down the keyboard. It's just really, really cool.
Yeah.
And Norman finishes. DC gets into his macho thing. I love you are the root of my desire. Oh boy. Scott Haskin. Add some hand claps and it could be played in a gospel church in the South. See, our gospel church that's a horny gospel church.
Yikes.
We're horny for the Lord. But yeah, the separate patrons are mentioning the gospel thing. So, it's definitely ringing true. Blackmore Tights says, first heard this on the CD anthology box set and it sticks out like a sore thumb. But as part of this album, it works brilliantly. Catchy dual vocal chorus. Joe Sigler says, I like the vibe of this, especially the sound of chorus. Richie sounds mostly invisible, though. Arthur Smith, I like this song. It's not very purple, but classically a pissed off Richie does a one-take solo with his thumb and steals the show. John Lord shows up for work on this one, too. Mike Bagford says, eat your heart out, Grand Funk Railroad. I like that one. Scallop Strap Matt, a decent Hughes and Coverdale showcase. Raph says he likes Pacey's Drive on this one. Some people will say this song is filler, but Coverdale really brings his A game to it. The opening line alone is fire. Hughes's delivery, on the other hand, makes me cringe. He probably doesn't like the like I do. Kenny Wymore says, sort of Blue-Eyed Soul, a great song, but not the type that screams Deep Purple. Duncan Leask says, the best of late Mark III for me, great vocal harmonies. John really expanding his keyboard palette, and despite Richie hating it, he pulls a giant fuck you, awesome solo. Great stuff. Peter Gardo says, great John Lord. However, there are too many songs named Hold On. Yep. We even got a Trapeze album named Hold On, depending on which version you're doing, whether it's the Booby version or the Volkswagen version. This song reminds me of John Lord's comment about Hughes singing more and more like Stevie Wonder. Not that it's a bad thing. That was from Eddie Lyon. Runar Simonson says, the Contrarians. I'm guessing the title track gets the top spot, but this for me has always been a huge favorite. Groovy and keeps pushing and building. Listen how little Richie is doing when not soloing. Less is more. Pace and Hughes are locked in, and John and Richie are delivering some great solos. Great non-typical DP song from a great non-typical DP album, but this was the road they were headed, and maybe the first step towards what became Pace Ashton Lord. That's a good call. All right. And Rich says, love the groove on the song, but cannot stand the hold on chorus. Hold on. Yeah, that's very, maybe Rich doesn't like gospel music. You don't like authentic gospel music like this? Delivered by 5 white guys from England? Okay. So we're going to take a little bit of a break. Thank our next level of patrons, and then we'll get into the stunning conclusion of these album rankings. So now we are at our core level patrons at the $6.99, the nice price plus tier. We have Spike the Rock Cat's Ghost and Sugar T. At the episode $6.66 tier, we have oops. Peter Gardo's gonna be mad with me if I don't do this. Oh no, I don't have it, do I? Oh, Peter Gardo is going to kill me. Oh, wait, no, I do. Okay. So I'm just going to pause like as if this was like super cool. Nothing even happened. And then I'm going to say, Steve Coldwell.
One of my favorite people on the planet. Just one of the coolest people. I'm so happy to know Steve Coldwell.
There we go. Seamlessly done. You can't even tell I didn't have that ready. Arthur Smith.
Getting support from the patron Arthur Smith.
And Charles Meadows. At the $6.65 almost evil tier, we have Kenny Wymore, Richie Sucksmith, and Sarah Jane.
Hello, Sarah Jane.
At the 70 Norwegian kroner tier, we have Kai Runa, yes, I'm Norwegian Olsen. At the $5.99, the nice price tier, Adrian Hernandez.
Hernandez error.
Hey, who the hell are you?
And Scalloped Strap Matt. At the 60 kroner Scandinavian Nights tier, Knut Morten Johansson. Apparently I've stripped him of his DJ status. At the €5.50 tier, Merline Rota. At the £4 Lucy 4 tier, we have Duncan Leask.
I'm alone here with empty nest, eagles, and snow.
At the $5 moneylender tier, John Convery, German Heindel, Jesper Alman, Alexei the Perfect Stranger Slepikoff, Kev Roberts, Scott Zern, Cynthia Doobie, Raf Calf.
You guys ever have sex?
Coyote Bongwater. John Maselli.
And now, Deep Thoughts
John
by
Maselli.
John Matola.
A bathtub, a picture window, a couple of faucets that are rated PG-13.
Deep Thoughts by John Maselli.
Sarah Sanders.
No, Kelly Clarkson!
Jelly Bean, Evan Robeson, Purple Swede.
Sweet, 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 sweet.
Ralphie Lee.
And I'm not a rich man, and I'm not your friend, Rich, either.
Joe Dopefish Sigler. Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast and waiting for me to fumble through the patron jingles. All right. We're in the final four here. It is technically, I think, still March Madness here in the U.S., even though it's April 1st as we record this. We're a bunch of fools here on April 1st. But it is March Madness still, and we're in the final four here. Some March Madness of our own. And coming in fourth place with, how many points does it have? Fourth place, 151 points. It's a little bit of a jump from the 124 points of fifth place. And this one is
Number 4.
The Gypsy. So a little bit of a jump between you and me. You ranked it 6th. I ranked it 3rd.
Yeah, this is another great one. I remember I think on our episode talking about how I wasn't really I feel like you liked this song a lot more than I did, and then I was just like, yeah, it's okay. But I mean, I think it's a really great, like, kind of like prequel to Rainbow type of song. This is another one that makes me think that it's got a real Rainbow feel to it. Like, you could see into the future, like what Richie was trying to do on the next album that he was going to be part of. It has that kind of feel to it. And I mean, this part here, the riff, is just really good.
That's a good point. I never really thought of it as being Rainbow, but you're right. It does have that kind of vibe to it. And
yeah, well, I mean, I know that
subject matter too.
Yeah, I mean, he had like 1 foot in Rainbow at this time anyway. So, I mean, it's like, obviously it makes sense that he's got a lot of that, kind of medieval Snake Charmer type of stuff going on here, while mixed with like the funk and the R&B and the hard rock. And that's what makes this album so good. But yeah, this is just another case of a song that I really like. It's just where it is on my list just is dictated by how much I liked other songs ahead of it.
Yep.
But definitely just a great song, great energy to it. It's got this kind of mystical type of energy I really like.
And I love it as the kind of, the big, usually you'd have like a big epic closer like this as your last song, but this obviously comes before the softer Soldier of Fortune. So I kind of like that dynamic too. And I like this part too, where you just have kind of like this really slow down. Isn't there some like percussion that comes in later too? No, I'm thinking of a different song.
Yeah, but I mean, even this solo here is just, again, very like Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. You could tell where his head was at.
This song,
I mean, just really melodic, like very quiet.
Yeah, the little Fender Rhodes going on in the background there, tinkling away. It gets a last place 9th ranking from Hank the Tank, Kai Rune Olsen, Kenny Wymore, and that's it. First place, Merlin Rota, Kev Roberts. Just the two of them. Bunch of twos. Kind of in the middle everywhere else. Merline Rota says a standout track of the album. Best song of Mark III, in my opinion. Fantastic duo singing, great lick and guitar playing. Chords and structure are very interesting. Love this. Live, the song works even better. And I love that there's some songs that just Glenn sings. There's some songs that just David sings. There's some songs where they switch off. There's some songs where maybe Glenn will just come in for a bridge or the chorus. And then you've got this song where they sing the entire thing together, which I thought it's great that they were constantly changing that up. And again, never seemed to be in conflict. And I don't think I've read much about it. I don't think I've heard either of them say it in interviews. I've never heard anyone say, oh yeah, there was a real jockeying position for power. The only real person jockeying for power was Richie. He wanted more creative control. But there didn't seem to be like this big battle between the singers, you know?
Yeah.
There was, you know, the live stuff where Glenn would go off and David Coverdale would go in the back or whatever, but it didn't seem like it was ever like, screw that guy. Because their voices are so different, and that's, I think, why they work so well together. I would love to hear, like this, or You Keep On Moving, hear isolated vocals. Like, I don't know, maybe they sang it together, so maybe it's on the same track. But if they were on separate tracks, that would be amazing to hear. Because he didn't do this one on the Purple album, I doubt, right?
Oh man, I
don't
can't
think
remember.
so.
It sounds like something that he would, but I mean, I can't remember. I liked when it came out. I don't want to say I liked the Purple album. I mean, I was like, I loved the concept of it, and then was listened to it a couple of times, and I'm like, oh, this is great. These songs getting some love, but ultimately, nothing is going to beat the original recording. So
yeah, and I think obviously we'll get to that album one day, but I think it was a great idea to do that. Why not? Kind of see his take on the songs if he did have complete control. But it would be interesting to see all of their takes. Really, it would be interesting to see. Well, we've seen Glenn's pretty much in his live performances, but it would be interesting to see like how if everyone had the final say, creative control, what would these songs? Mike Backford says, yeah, the Gypsy, 5th track on the Purple album. Okay,
that's what I thought. Yeah.
All right. We'll have to.
Because I feel like it lends itself to a modern day interpretation.
I have a lot of thoughts on the Purple album, so I think that's going to be and every time I post about that one, gets a lot of mostly negative comments, but because nobody. I think you have to take it for what it is, right? You can't be like, the original songs are better. Well, obviously, like nobody's gonna, like if Paul McCartney decided to wake up tomorrow and I'm gonna re-record the Abbey Road, people, I like the originals better. Like, yeah, we know, like nobody is gonna like the new version. Like when Roger Waters did that weird ass version of Dark Side of the Moon a couple years back. It was, I have no idea why he did it. It was very weird, but it's like, you can't, I understand the being compelled to compare it to the original, but you can't because it was so weird and it was so like, what? I don't know why you're doing this or why you're doing these weird voiceovers or any of it, but you have to take it as a new piece of work. You just can't compare it to the original. Okay, so for the Gypsy, we got, let's see here. Merline wrote I already read his thing. Norman Weisselbaum, great riff from Richie. Love the vocals that are really worked out vocal line. Today, they would kill you if you call someone a gypsy because of political correctness. Yes. Gypsy is not a encouraged term these days, which is funny when you're doing a podcast about a band from the 70s, because it was not isolated to Deep Purple, but like the word gypsy is in every song. And I think also in I don't think it's as well known in the US that's like really kind of like a slur almost. But because in the US there aren't really, Roma people wandering about, and in Europe there are. So yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, but if you go to Europe and you're like, get out of here, gypsy.
Yeah, exactly.
The collective gasp.
Clutch their pearls.
How dare you?
Well, you shouldn't be telling them to get out of here either. That's not very nice. Mark is bringing up some Cher's song, Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves. I don't know. Should I keep saying this word? Are we going to get canceled? We're gonna have to put this episode on Patreon. Deep Purple Podcast. This is going to be the new banned in the EU.
Too hot for the EU episode.
Yeah, Scott saying hobo is still good. Yeah, I was gonna say, did they change hobo to drifter for sensitivity reasons? They're not hobos, okay? We don't call them hobos. They are train riding, train car riders. Okay, but hey, I'm a big proponent. If there's a term people do not want to be referred to by, you probably shouldn't call them that. Anyway, but this song is unfortunately called The Gypsy. Okay, Steve Down Earth Kohler, what rainbow was soon to sound like? So there you go. I think everyone's picking up on this. A lot of these things that I am, like the gospel stuff and the rainbow stuff, that I am just like completely oblivious to, apparently. Blackmore Tights, one of the many highlights of this album, almost feels like a sequel to The Shield. That's I think what I was thinking of. That breakdown in the middle of The Shield where they bring out the don't they bring out like percussion? Like shakers and stuff?
Yeah, I know what you're.
So I think that's where my brain was going in that middle part.
Maybe, yeah.
Or I could be thinking of a different song. Joe Sigler, liked this song, but I can't really pin down via words why. Sometimes you just go with it. Yeah, it's got this very otherworldly quality to it, as far as I'm concerned. And like Norman said about that riff, it's just so, I don't even know if you call it a riff. It's just this really cool. It just takes you to another place. Really dig this one. Arthur Smith, another almost Purple classic. Could have been my favorite too. Very atmospheric, and the dual lead vocals are very effective. Great riff and great song. Mike Bagford, preview of Richie Blackmore's Rainbow. Scalp Strap Matt, really enjoy the eerie spatial feel and insistent riff. That's a great way of putting it. Raf Calf, right up my alley. Moody, brooding, and very soulful guitar playing. This is exactly what I love about Richie. Kenny Wymore, not bad, but something has to be last. Duncan Leask, I really wanted to rank it much lower, but I love the construct and feel. Those dual vocal layers are great too. Kai Runa Olsen says, perhaps the most successful duet from David and Glenn. Here you can hear how well their voices complement each other. Like John's electric piano, but that Richie's solo is a lot of repetition and a bit too simple. Last minute and a half of the song is just repetition. I can see that. Peter Gardot, great composition, DC and GH working well together with great material. Sorry, I'm like dying over here. I'm having like hiccups and like like I'm coughing. I don't know what's going on with me this morning. Soldier of Fortune, difficult to place this one among several songs of similar quality, a song that came over particularly well in concert when Whitesnake did the Purple Tour. See, if I read these comments in advance, I'd answer a lot of my own questions. Ashen Lionel, Purple scale rating, Abyss-like Indigo, more of the heavy with some top-notch moody blues rock, riff powers along with nice early Whitesnake vibe, and Coverdale excels vocally in his Is This Love register. Well, that's a good point. All right. So that takes us to, we're in the Lionel, the last three, the final Lionel 3.
All right.
So we'll go over here, and in third place with 159 points, a mere 8 points higher than the Gypsy. Here we go.
Number 3.
Lady Double Dealer. All right, this is probably our biggest variance, John. You ranked this second.
Yeah.
and I ranked it 9th.
Oh, yikes!
I mean, I like it. It's got a great energy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I think this is the only high tempo rocker.
Yeah.
On this album, and I never really liked the album version as much, but when I listened to it more recently, I just really liked the energy. I really liked the layering of like the guitar and like, you know, John Lord. I liked Richie's like fills.
Yeah.
Like I just noticed he had these fills in here that are just like really they're just really good. They're kind of like different, you know, like just a little off like what you would expect. I mean, and it's the only really solo that Richie really lets go on. He rips on. I mean, you could argue that Stormbringer is, but that's really more melodic. Yeah. Like this one sounds more like the ones where he just, just kind of lets it go, and you know, does something really high powered. So yeah, I mean, I really, you know, this song really hit me in the right way.
A great guitar solo.
Listen, yeah. And I mean, a great build up to the solo. I mean, like classic Richie right here.
Yeah, like live energy on the solo. Yeah.
Which you don't get a lot on this album. You get a lot of like moody, mellow.
The little bridge section leading into the solo by Hughes is a little odd. I think the thing about this song, I mean, I like this song. I think the thing that turns me off, or the reason it probably I don't like the delay on the vocals. And it sounds like, to me, it sounds like they just got a delay pedal and they are looking to try it out. Because even that part where it goes, yeah, 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 yeah. It's like, okay, enough of that. I don't like the delay effect on the vocals. It's too spaced out. But the energy of the song is undeniable. Great guitar work. You can tell Richie is engaged when they're doing this one.
Yeah, and I mean, this is like, you know, definitely like a concert ending, like end, which I think was great about this song. Richie's doing his bam.
That's one of your favorites.
Yeah. Hey, well, that's one of the things that he was doing around this time, especially on Made in Europe, where I was just like, that was my favorite thing that he did. It was just so he'd go, bam, and he just like,
and he'd have a delay on the guitar, so then he'd go, and you'd hear that.
Yeah, so he would just do that for like, I don't know, like a minute straight, and I'm like, oh, that's so good.
It's like one of the only things he does that I could do. And for some reason, that's the thing that's like, I'd probably screw that up too. But yeah.
Great energy. I love it.
Scott says we're going to have to go through homeless sensitivity training. We might have to go through, well, it's actually unhoused sensitivity training.
Yeah, Scott. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed for you, Scott, that you okay, I'm dying over here. He says he hasn't been through the training yet. He's just that's why. Yeah, he's just reporting. He needs to go through it. Everyone and all the patrons are going to have to go through the training. Okay. So yeah, so as far as Lady Double Dealer goes, it has I'm the only one who ranked it last, so sorry. First place, Rich put it in first place. Yeah. He's the only one that put it in first place. So me and Rich are the polar opposites of this particular song. It's got a 8th place, got a few 2s. So did very well. Let's look at what Lady Double Dealer. Lady Double Dealer. I always get this one and Highball Shooter confused. Like, I mean, I know the difference, but I have to think for a second before I realize which one it is. Ashen Lionel says purple scale rating, deep purple, full on riff driven classic rocker, none more purple. Stuart McCord, a welcome return to good old rocking number with a classic Blackmore guitar riff, giving the album a bit of a lift right where it needs it after the more laid back run of songs. I would agree with that. And I'm not like a big fan of like, what do you say? Like really like breaking down the song order, but the song order on this album is a little odd that it has such a weird lull at the very beginning of the album, which is unusual. I would love to be in the room when they're making that decision as to why they did that.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, it's like it's a cohesive group of songs in terms of like sound.
Mm-hmm.
Like it sounds like one album, but the songs are all like a different energy. You know what I mean? Like you have like, this is really the only song on here like this, like the quote unquote old Deep Purple.
Yep.
You know, what people would expect. And then everything else is just kind of like, out of left field.
Kev Roberts is a return to something a bit more traditional and not before time too. Given what came before it on this album, this is a very welcome. I just feel confused at this point. Yeah, I can understand. Norman Weichelbaum says DP at their best, great driving riff, wonderful middle part by Glenn, one of my DP favorites. Scott Haskin, a fierce vocal on this one. Just imagine this with the production of Burn. Blackmore Tights, mid-album rocker to remind people they're still a rock band. Yes. Joe Sigler, my second favorite track on the song is it sounds more like what we expect from Deep Purple. The 3:30-ish length, fast-paced song will always speak to me. Like Richie's solo reminds me a little of Death Alley Driver. Oh, that's a good call. Arthur Smith, back on safer purple ground here. Pacey's back in the game, albeit given a very dry production. Great stuff. Mike Bagford, very Mark II, great rocker. Scalloped Strat Matt, a great upbeat rocker. Love the vocals in the bridge. Raf Calf, I learned this word on the Deep Purple podcast. Barn burner. Again, a breathtaking, angry performance by Coverdale. I wish the album had more of this type of material. That would have been John that used the term barn burner. That's a classic John phrase.
Well, who, me?
Yeah, or term.
Oh, yeah.
I should say.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely that. And I think that the only dry production on this is like Coverdale's vocals. I think that's what always threw me off at the beginning is that during the verses, it just sounded like he was just singing in like a room with no reverb, no effects or anything like that. That was very dry.
Yeah.
Almost like they just kind of plopped it in. There was like no ambiance to it. I mean, they did, put effect on his vocals like in the chorus and everything. But I mean, since then I've, gotten used to it. But I'm thinking that the song could have been amped up a notch if they had like kind of put in that like that effect that how his vocals were in the title track, like during the verse. If they had put that on here, I wonder how that would have sounded.
Yeah, totally. Peter Gardeau says, "What energy? Get out of my way with those harmonies." Yeah. Mark Roback, in how many songs on this album do they have Rainbow as a lyric? Counted 2 so far. Love the instrumentals and all of this. The drums really stand out. Does he say Rainbow in this song?
I don't know.
Have to look it up. Lady Double Dealer lyrics. Doesn't sound like a song that you'd use the word rainbow in. I don't see it in the lyrics, but maybe I'm missing something. Mark, you could tell me where I'm misinterpreting your Runar Simonson just says simply a rocker. Rich Shaler, yep. Love the song. Straight ahead rocker with some great guitar. When the harmonies kick in, it was the first time I really appreciated the dual singer thing. Hank the Tank, great tune. Every song on this album is good to great, hard to rank. Yes, Agreed. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Every song on this album is good to great. I marked this as my least favorite song on the album, but I sing along to it. I like it a lot. So it's not I'm sure there's a lot of people scratching their head as to how I could like Holy Man more than this, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's different. Like, I don't like Holy Man because I consider it to be a better rocker than this song. You know what I mean? It's like clearly it's very hard to rank those two on the same scale because I just like the vibe and the mood and the energy and the atmosphere of that song. Like,
yeah, Holy Man, the traditional rocker.
Yeah, it's a great solid rocker getting back to the Deep Purple's roots. Jelly Bean could have made it +1 or -1 on the list, but it's a bit tight in the middle. Stuart McCord, a welcome return to good old rocking number with a classic Blackmore guitar riff, giving the album a bit of a lift right where it needs it. Oh, I think I already read that one. You get double billing there, Stuart McCord. All right, so the next track can only be one of two songs. It's either the album opener or the album closer if you're playing along at home. Those are the only two songs left. And with a total 10 points behind the number one spot, with 188 points, here it is.
Number 2.
So it had to go one of two ways, right?
Yep.
This was where I was really surprised with your rankings.
Me too. No, really,
I thought
like
for sure this would be your number one.
Well, Soldier of Fortune has always been like one of my absolute favorites of this album, and really like that and Holy Man could have swapped. Like I thought that it would have been at least like number 2, but yeah, I did put it at number 4 just because I don't know. Holy Man slightly beat it out. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to qualify how this is like, like one of my absolute favorite songs, but it's not like in the top like 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is just like, yeah. I mean, when I was just like evaluating like how much I was enjoying listening to the songs, I'm like, it had to be bumped as of this list, But I mean, top 4 is not bad. But yeah, I mean, this just shows, just like, Richie's, and the whole band's like songwriting skills. I mean, this is like, the looking glass into things to come. Like the songs like this would be part of his Blackmore's Night type of style. Like obviously his early, another early Rainbow. This, Ronnie could have been singing this on the first Rainbow album.
Yeah, Catch the Rainbow. Eyes, like there's like a lot of
but I mean, everything from like the guitar to like Coverdale's like delivery, the lyrics, like the emotion is just like it's a perfect song.
Yeah, I ranked this one number 2, so I was surprised that I ranked it higher than you because I thought, well, I'm ranking this number 2, but obviously John's gonna rank it number 1. But I like that both Glenn and David got to do this very soft, atmospheric, moody song on the album. They both had an opportunity to do it. The only thing that would have made this album a little more interesting, I think, is if Glenn had gotten like Lady Double Dealer or Highball Shooter, like so they both had like a hard rocker on the album too. But yeah, I absolutely love this song. I think the chorus is one of the best of any Deep Purple song and any song. I think lyrically, chord progression wise, it's just amazing. Norman Weichelbaum said Richie wanted to close out the album with guitar vocal only, but the band turned it down, so he was pissed again. I mean, it's essentially got his wish. I guess he just wanted it to not have the drums and the keys.
Yeah, but I mean, I think
and there is some bass in there too. Now that I listen,
yeah, but I mean, it was very like if you hear it, it's like everybody was really pulled back. I mean, you didn't hear like Glenn doing any like popping or snapping or any of that kind of stuff on his bass. It was just very,
He had this really dirty bass tone.
yeah, like everybody was very subdued. Like they played for the song and they didn't go off the rails with it. And the way that the song ended was just a perfect ending and a perfect end to the album, you know, to Richie's first tenure with the band, you know,
and to just the era too, the era of 2 albums. But yeah, great. And I mean, as interesting as A200 is as a song, I mean, this was to me a far better ending to an album than having a kind of weird instrumental at the end. You know, it just this was. This is a song that's never too far away from my mind. It's something I'm thinking about very often. So Arthur Smith saying we often get the best music from Richie when he's pissed. So
true.
So yeah, that is for this song. We've got in giving it first place, Stuart McCord, Hank the Tank, Soldier of Fortune, obviously.
Obviously.
Eddie, he'll be great. Yeah, I ranked it 7th. Eddie Lyon, Karsten Lau, Purple Swede, Duncan Leask, Mike Bagford, Arthur Smith, Blackmore Tights, Steve Kohler, Scott Haskin, Norman Weichelbaum, all ranked it first. Nobody ranked it last. I think this is the first track that nobody ranked last.
Good. They shouldn't.
I mean, yeah, that would be a tough. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who would give it last. It's got a couple of 8s. But yeah, again, Scott said, I think he put it in the chat. It's like ranking your least favorite bite of cake. Like, this is the worst bite of the cake. You know, it's very difficult to put anything in first or last place on this album.
And obviously the worst bite of the cake is incidentally anyone, well, the last, but also anyone that doesn't have the flour on it. Because the flour's got the most frosting.
Oh, yes. My kids my daughter will, it's like she excavates her cake. She'll eat everything about the frosting. And then you'll just have a plate with like this just like little outline of frosting, like standing up and everything around where the cake used to be. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? That's the best. I mean, it's great for me because I get more frosting, but it's probably why I look like the guy in the picture that Pete sent.
She doesn't eat. Wait, she eats around it, but then doesn't eat it?
Yeah, she doesn't eat it at all.
Oh, see, I was going to say like, no, that's smart because that's what I do. Is
like,
I'll eat all the, and then I'll like save it for last. I'll eat like most of the cake and then I'll like my frosting to cake ratio is like 90% frosting, and then I'll be like, nah.
just shove your face in the plate like Randy from A Christmas Story.
Yes, exactly like that.
Yeah, I don't get, like, a lot of the kids, like my niece and nephew also, like they don't eat the frosting. I'm like, what is the matter with you?
More for me.
Yeah, I guess. It's it's kind of weird. The whole relationship these kids have with frosting, I don't really get it. Okay. Soldier of Fortune, Merline Rota says, one of the most brilliant Coverdale Blackers moments. Agreed. Kev Roberts, oh wow, final song and it's a slow ballad. What a song though. Coverdale again delivers a gorgeous vocal. When I hear this, it reminds me of what a fantastic singer he was compared to the later years' screeching banshee.
Oof, yeah.
A perfect example of less is more guitar solo again. Points to early Rainbow leanings. Mr. Weichelbaum, simply classic. I would love to hear the first demo David and Richie recorded, guitar and vocal only. I wonder if that's out there. It's got to be out there somewhere, right? Someday. Sometimes there's Scott Haskins. Sometimes there is beauty in simplicity. This one is an absolute 10 out of 10 for me. Yep. Steve Kohler, absolute masterpiece. Blackmore Tights, greatest Purple ballad, greatest Purple closer, greatest Coverdale song, greatest Blackmore song. No, it's clearly him trying to copy Stairway to Heaven, but still amazing. Could play this one every day and never get bored. Joe Sigler, not much going on here that engaged me. Clutching my pearls. Arthur Smith, this is the big song from Stormbringer. I doubt anyone thought so at the time. And by all accounts, Richie and David had to fight the others to get it included. Yeah, because I think Pacey hated it, right? Or didn't?
I think so, yeah.
Probably because it's not a lot for him to do. They probably should have just let him sit that one out. But I like the fact that they're all playing on it, even though when I think of it in my mind, I just think of it as Coverdale and Blackmore. But they're all adding a little something.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a very the other instruments are very like supportive role in this song. You know, it's like it's almost like you don't, like you said, you don't know that they're there, but you feel like they are. Like if you snap into it, you're like, oh, the whole band is playing. Like they just kind of snuck in, and you know, it builds on itself. And I mean, it's great, and you don't even notice it, which is, you know, one of the best parts. So
yeah, it sounds kind of almost, there's like, I think it's on oops, I almost broke my 3D logo here. Better not play with that. I think it's in the Let It Be or whatever, Get Back documentary with the Beatles, like Paul McCartney's just playing a song, and then like Ringo is just like walking around the studio and just sits down and starts playing. They all just kind of eventually just all join in, and it's very like organic because it's obviously they weren't planning on it, but it has that feel to it where it was, they're all just kind of joining in late and making magic happen. So Mark Roback said the working title was Hobo of Fortune.
That's good.
That'd be great if there was an older version of this. Guess I'll always be
a hobo of fortune.
Scalp Strap Matt says, very nearly made first position for me. Great chord progression and brilliant vocals from Coverdale. Raf Calf says, very nice closer. Coverdale and Blackmore at their best. I always enjoyed closing the album without any Hughes vocals. Oh man, Hughes is catching a lot of direct shots here. Kenny Wymore, a great album closer since it brings the energy level down and wraps everything up. Yeah, I think this is a situation where the lowering of the energy worked really well. Not so much after the first opening track. Duncan Leask, cracking song, simply not flashy. Takes a big gamble by not being funky or rock, and it pays off in droves. Kai Runa Olsen, first song I heard from the album. Never get tired of this one. A class of its own, of his own. David shows off from a soulful mode. Richie's solo is warm, smooth, and iconic. Peter Gardeau, hashtag weak. Blackmore's Night is better, or JLT. Oh boy. John's taking his headphones off. He's getting in the car and driving down to Connecticut.
I'm gonna have a mano a mano with Pete.
He's gonna be standing on Pete's front lawn. Hey, get out of there! Come outside and fight like a man.
Get out here, Gardeau.
Karsten Lau, this one has been stuck in my head since I've heard it the first time back in the day. And that's exactly how I feel. This is one of those ones that I'll just be at work or walking the dog and it just pops in my head. You know, it's like, it's never far from my mind at all. Mark said, send Pete a rage fax. If I had, you know, I might have to go to Office Depot on my way to work today, and I'm gonna pay $1 to send him a fax.
A rage fax.
He has a fax machine. Oh, unless that came through at work. But does anybody even still have a fax machine at work?
I think I might.
You do? I haven't had.
Well, I mean, I think it's like integrated with the printer. But I mean, I don't know that anybody uses it. I mean, maybe to send something to their doctor, but I mean, even then, I mean, you could just like copy it and email the scan to the doctor. Like, I don't know.
I used to have an e-fax, you know, it was like a number dedicated to you, and they'd fax you and go to your email. But then work, like, I don't know.
Right.
15 years ago, work was like, yeah, we're not paying for that anymore. I'm like, that's fine. I never asked for it. If somebody wants to fax me, they're out of luck.
Yeah.
Eddie Lyon, I'm probably not alone in ranking this as number one. Beautiful song performed and produced perfectly. Rich Shaler said, at one point in time, this is probably my favorite on the album, and I'm not sure if I just got sick of it or if my tastes have changed. Still a great song. Ash and Lionel, purple scale rating, Profound Violet, delightful folk track, like nothing else here. Coverdale's When a Blind Man Cries. Oh, good call. All right. Well, I believe the suspense is up because we know.
It's over.
We know, and here we go.
Number 1.
The titular Stormbringer.
I mean, I think we all knew like 90 minutes ago, like that it was going to be this.
Really, I was not sure. I really thought it would be Soldier of Fortune.
Yeah, I could see it being a close race, but I mean, yeah, this was my number 1.
And this was my experience with the Purple album. This song being on that album it just goes da 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 da, and there's no and that really
that's what makes it.
Yeah.
Like,
although
you don't
when you
understand
get to the comments,
much...
some people don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, I just think that's where you would underestimate certain influences on a song. It's like without that part in it, to me, without John Lord's part in it, the song is missing something, and it seems so small that it's there every day, but it's like it's huge, you know.
Yeah, like I would have appreciated. I mean, we're not covering that album yet, but for me, if they had done that, but just did that with a guitar, like a guitar going, like that would be at least something. But it just seemed empty.
Yeah. So this was one of the songs. This was the song I was talking about where I started the album. I'm like, all right, let's see if I feel the same about Stormbringer that I always did in comparison to the other songs. And I mean, there's a reason that it's classic, that it's on the compilations, that, you know, most fans love it so much. I mean, it's just it's such a great, well put together, just this moody, like mid-tempo song. It's definitely the best on the album. I mean, it's a title track for a reason, you know. I mean, it's got great, like we talked about, it has that undeniable kind of thing in there from John we're going to hear again, which, I mean, you can't underestimate how important that is to the song. And then it's just this very, like, you know, Richie's like just melodic mid-tempo snake charmer guitar solo, not off the charts like his Lady Dubber Dealer song, like solo. This one is very well constructed, you know, thoughtful, well planned out, and it's so classic, you know. I mean, you could sing it. Like, I was like walking along yesterday when I was listening to it, and I was like scatting along with it. I was da na na na. You could sing along with it.
Yep.
That's what makes it iconic.
Coming in with 198 points. You ranked this number 1. I ranked it number 5. Which
okay, contrarian Nate.
Well, I love it. It's a great song, great opener. But like I said, everything from 1 to 7 with me was like neck and neck. So I moved things around more times than I have on any of these other rankings. It's just, I was like, I just couldn't find room for it with some of the other ones. Like, you know, I couldn't move Soldier of Fortune. I couldn't move Holy Man. I couldn't move the Gypsy. And it's like, I was like, I almost put it in 4th place because I was like, you can't do it right with the one you love. But then I hear that clavinet and I'm like, I can't do it.
I can't do it.
I can't do it. But it's also, this song is seems a lot shorter than it is. It's a little over 4 minutes, and it seems to me like this is like a 3-minute song. So ranked number 1, Matt in Vegas, Jelly Bean, Anders Engstrom, Graham Bonnet's Disco Pants and Haircuts, Kai Runa Olsen, Kenny Wymore, Raf Kaff, Scalp Strap Matt, Joe Sigler, all ranked at number 1. A bunch of 2s. No last place, obviously. A couple of 8s.
Mm-hmm.
No last place finishes for this one. Again, it's just a beloved song. Merline Rota ranked at 5, says good rocking song, nothing special. So there you go. That's about the harshest criticism you're going to get from it. Kai Runa Olsen, another epic album opener. Rich Shaler, classic, although I love the synth work on the album now. It had a very dated sound to it when I was first getting to it. Too soon to be retro cool. Yeah, so like if you're getting into this in like the mid 80s, you're like, ew, that sounds like, it sounds like that gross disco stuff or whatever. And kind of the way I felt about the way I still feel a lot about a lot of 80s synths, although a lot of them have also grown on me over the years.
Yeah.
Ash and Lionel, purple scale rating, Fathomless Plum, Burn, a slight return, epic and awesome in setting, but without a killer riff to equal the title track of the previous LP. Stuart McCord, my first introduction to this one was on the Deepest Purple compilation, and it definitely has to have a place on any Purple Greatest Hits collection. A terrific track, which keeps up that ongoing tradition of them always having killer album openers. Agreed. Jelly Bean, it's the only one from the album I would put on Burn. I could see that. Imagine if they closed Burn with this.
Interesting.
Hank the Tank, great song. Not my favorite, though. Rich Shaler, I already read his. Soldier of Fortune. Anyone playing this album for the first time won't have been too surprised by the opening track. A straight-ahead rocker, but no indication of what was to come. Mark Roback, I like the chorus, the general riff, and it has a guitar solo that would make Mr. Reb Beach green with envy. But I have to say I'm not a fan of the synthesizer intro and how the song has a disjointed flow. Also, in retrospect, this sounds so much like Rainbow, which is interesting since Rainbow is a lyric. There you go. Eddie Lyon, perfect sequel to Burn. Karsten Lau, classic DP. Love the collaboration between Hughes and Coverdale here, but have heard the live version much better than this. Peter Gardeau says, Stormbringer! So much Riz. Kai Runa Olsen is saying, I think the title track was an attempt to make a sequel to Burn. Stormbringer is not that strong neither in the structure nor in the riff itself, but oh my God, it is still so good. But like the rest of the album, it is Richie who seems uninspired and delivers yet another slide solo, strong vocals from David, impressive drums from Ian, and groovy bass from Glenn. I would agree. When I first heard this, I was like, oh, this is a sequel to Burn. They're trying to recapture the magic they got with that one. That's kind of how I felt about this song, and I still do. Mm-hmm. But that's also, I think, what makes it a great song.
But I mean, they're the title tracks, but they're both iconic, but in a different way. Like if you're going to say which one is heavier, it's Burn. But I mean, this one has something to it. Like I can't put, you can't put your finger on it. It's like you wouldn't say the song Stormbringer is like heavy or a rocker, but I guess it's like a good mid-tempo rocker. It's like it's not straight ahead like Burn. Like Burn was like straight ahead, like high octane rock. Great riff, great energy. But it's like, I don't know. They're both good in their own way. You can't really compare them like that. I don't think.
Yep. What else? Joe Sigler, I always felt this song was head and shoulders over everything else on the album. I've always felt most of the album is meh, and this was the only thing that could have been on Burn, which is a far superior album anyway. Arthur Smith, this is a great song and a great opener. Could easily have been my favorite, but then finds itself bumped down to 4. Maybe it's too close a relation to Burn and suffers by comparison, an almost classic Purple song. And I do have some late breaking news. So because these songs are so tight, so close together, we had a couple of last minute entries that came in last night that have changed the rankings. So I'm afraid, and this has never happened before, that first place and second place have switched spots.
If they came in last night, then how come you didn't? How come it wasn't changed already?
Because I had the rankings done, but I didn't have the thing.
Hmm.
So I guess I have messed up. But it's just, Soldier of Fortune has just edged out Stormbringer because I calculated these late last night before I went to bed, and then this morning did not recalculate.
So do we have to record the whole episode over?
Yeah, let's
again?
start over. I'll put in the show notes what the final rankings are. But
okay.
Mark is saying it's voter fraud. Yeah, well, they came in just late last night. Yeah, well, I know for next time. John's got his hands crossed. He's all mad.
Yeah.
His arms
well,
are
I mean, I'm not mad that like one of the best songs on the album is number one, but still,
yeah,
my number one isn't a number one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I am mad.
My number one's never number one, so get used to it. All right. So before we go,
dismissive.
I am very dismissive. I am going to thank our final level of patrons, our foundation level patrons, before we wrap up. And coming in at the £3.50 50 pence Deep Purple New York tier, we have Lord Longford. At
I think you said Lloyd Longford.
Did I? Lloyd.
I don't know if you said Lloyd Longford or Lord. It sounded like Lloyd Longford.
Lloyd Longford.
His brother. Lord Longford's brother, Lloyd. He's Long and Lloyd.
Hey, tell Lord Longford, tell Lloyd he needs to send us in some Patreon money if he wants to be included. At the £3 aromatic feed tier, Simon Ford. At the €3.50 tier, Weston Supermare Pilgrim. At the 293 pence tier, we have
Blackmore tights.
I'm coughing like Pops today. This is crazy. At the €2.50 Too Many Tears tier, we have Soldier of Fortune.
Too many tears.
At the $3.33 Halfway to Evil tier, Stephen Sharp. And at the $3 Nobody's Perfect tier, we have Peter Gardeau.
Pete who?
All right, I failed. I'm just doing Pete Who today. Ian DeRosier. Mark Roback.
Yeah, so why don't you tell us who he is?
Stuart McCord. And my mouse. I'm over mousing today. I can't hit these clips. Ivan Fjellbu. Runar Simonsen. Ruinous Inadequacies, Corey Morissette. Adam Cork, Tim Wood, Steve Down to Earth Kohler.
Make your love.
Michael, Matt in Vegas, Jesus Christ Superstar, and Eddie Lyon.
Homosexual.
At the 19.31 kroner cold hard Danish kroner tier, Karsten Lau.
Cold hard Danish kroner.
And at the made up name tier, we have the most delicious slice of death, Leaky Mausoleum, Stephen Somerville, the Concerto 1999 Fanatic, Hank the Tank, Private Eyes, Ashen Lionel, Zwapper the Electric Alchemist, Anders Engstrom, ICDC, Durple Purple, David Haddam, Graham Bonnet's Disco Pants and Haircuts.
I said, Graham, our audience expects you to be a bit more dirty.
Disco Pants and Haircuts, yeah.
I'm just going to put my guitar across his head.
And Sick Tone.
Where is she? Where is she?
Just about to close up the library.
Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. Once again, bringing up the unprofessional professionals. Well, in closing, what an album. What an album. Very difficult to choose. Although, you know, some people obviously ranking it from a different perspective than we are as far as their overall thoughts of the album or thoughts of the album at the time. I can understand how this would be a little bit surprising in the moment, but we kind of discovered it along the time, at the same time we got Burn and stuff like that. So,
well, I like that. You know, I like the different perspectives. You get to hear why, like each person, why everybody kind of feels the way that they do, and sometimes it brings up a point that you didn't think about before. Or sometimes you'll hear like we heard some similar things, like somebody said, "Oh, that's like Glenn leaning into a Stevie Wonder type thing," or somebody being like, "Oh yeah, this is like, it sounds very rainbowish." So it's like sometimes you're like, "Oh, okay, I'm not the only one who thinks this," but you know, you hear other people's points of views, and I don't want to say it really affects your own, but it gives you something else to think about, especially if somebody points something out about a song, and then, you know, you go into it with a different perspective, and maybe you get to appreciate it more in a different way. So that's why I like these episodes.
Yeah, 100%. There's totally things that you brought up, the rainbow thing, and then I read through the comments and like 9 different people said it, and I'm like, wow, am I just stupid? Because I never thought about it before. And then like the gospel thing was another one where you're just like, oh yeah, like it totally is, but just never crossed my mind to think of it.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, then on the other, on the other end of it, you know, you have so much perspective that, you know, I don't know or think of any of it too. So see, we all learn from each other.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people reinforcing each other on a thing that you never thought of, and then there's also like something that I thought of that I thought was like original, and then 5 other people mentioned it. So you're like, oh, validation. Maybe I'm not just crazy.
Yeah, it's not like we were like, nah, you don't know, you didn't get the rainbow connection, Nate. Jerk.
You stupid idiot.
Yeah, we're not that type of group here.
We're not that type of podcast, folks. We like to lift each other up, not bring each other down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to freaking go to work. This was one of our longer album ranking episodes.
Yeah. Well,
not one of our shorter episodes.
No, so definitely not.
I need to also have lunch before I go to work, or else I will not eat. And
you'll starve. Yes. Yeah. So you better skedaddle.
But it is being brought up to remind you, episode 99 of the 70s Weekly Countdown with Mark and Pete also features John and Nate. So if you
that's us.
For some reason haven't gotten enough Nate and John with 2 hours of us in a week, you can add another 2 hours on by hearing us chat with Mark and Pete about Don Kirshner's rock concert. Wait, it was Don Kirshner, right? Midnight Special?
No, that wasn't
Burt Sugarman. It's one of those guys. We'll say Don Kirshner.
I don't think it was.
What?
Either way, it was a good episode. It was fun.
It was a great episode. Check it out. Where me and John discover Melissa Manchester for the first time. It was pretty great. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith is signing off, and we'll be bidding you adieu until next week. When we get into, are we going to have a new episode? Are we going to do part 2 of Blackmore's Night? Who knows? Anything could happen.
Oh,
John's having technical difficulties that won't allow him to be on for the next episode.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody so much, and have a great week.
If you like the Deep Purple podcast and would like to support the show, please consider joining our Patreon or donating on PayPal. Patrons get full access to the podcast, Discord server, ratings, spreadsheets, and live stream invites. You can also leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts to help new people discover the show. You can follow the show on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, or Threads. You can also check out the website at deeppurplepodcast.com for show notes and more. Contact us via email at John or Nate at deeppurplepodcast.com. Thanks for listening.